Good morning. My name is Marcus Rayner. I'm president of the New Jersey Civil Justice Institute. I'm pleased to be here today and to be joined by representatives of the National Federation of Independent Business, the State Chamber of Commerce, the Commerce and Industry Association of New Jersey, and by Senator Oroho, the sponsor of an important piece of legislation that would address some problems inherent in New Jersey's Consumer Fraud Act. New Jersey's Consumer Fraud Act, which is a 50-year-old law, is an important and necessary consumer protection bill that, at its best, protects consumers from fraud. Unfortunately, as that bill has evolved over 50 years, that legislation and the practice of that bill has become problematic for many businesses. And we believe that the time is right to reform the Consumer Fraud Act in New Jersey to make sure that it is, in fact, protecting consumers from fraud and not hurting businesses that do legitimate business and make honest mistakes. New Jersey's legal climate has been problematic for years. The business community has been asking for legal reform now for 7 years in New Jersey, and there are now 5 bills with bipartisan sponsorship in both houses of the legislature that would address New Jersey's legal climate in important ways. And one of the most important is the reform bill S-2293 that would reform the Consumer Fraud Act. With that, introductory remarks, I'd like to let some of the other folks here speak. I'm going to introduce Senator Oroho. Senator Oroho is a Republican representing Sussex County who has always been a great advocate for the business community, the importance of economic competitiveness in New Jersey, and we're thrilled that he's sponsored this important legislation. Senator Oroho.
Marcus, thank you. Thank you very much. And my comments will be brief. I focus on the legislature almost 100% on the competitiveness of New Jersey. And to me, that is capital investment, capital equals investment, investment equals jobs. We all know that in New Jersey, it's been challenging in having private sector job growth because over many, many years, New Jersey unfortunately has chased capital away, one with tax policy that made it very uncompetitive to be in New Jersey, which we are addressing. We certainly have a much further to go. The other part being regulatory reform, where the regulatory environment in New Jersey has been very difficult. It takes obviously a long time to get something done. And the one thing that businesses and job creators know that time is money, and it's very expensive. And unfortunately, if you don't have, and I've always said, capital is like water. It follows a path of least resistance to success. It doesn't necessarily have to be the low-cost state, but it has to have a high probability of success. And if you look at this as a three-legged stool, the other leg of that stool would be in the legal liability issues. And companies, I've worked for a number of companies where when they look at it, say, okay, where are we going to do our next expansion? Where are we going to do our next job creators? And one thing they do look at is what is the legal liability that I would have in that particular state. I certainly signed on to be the sponsor of this because I think when you're looking at treble damages and giving the judges the ability to look at whether treble damages are necessary, as well as the attorney's fees that can be awarded. I think a lot of times companies will look at that and say, where is, in my putting of a business, an expansion, or creating jobs, where am I likely to be successful? And I think this is that third stool where if we can get our tax policies more competitive, we can get our regulatory environment more competitive, and our legal liability on a fair playing field with all other states, then I think we're on a roadway to really having New Jersey's economy come back to the way it used to be. New Jersey was an economic powerhouse. We should be there again. We've got a great location. We've got a great workforce. We have a great infrastructure when it's properly maintained. Those are great assets. So I'm very proud to have my name associated with this, and I hope the legislature will pick up this common sense solution and get it done. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator. I wanted to briefly let some of the other business groups present here today talk about this bill. First, I'll introduce Michael Egginton, who's Senior Vice President of the State Chamber of Commerce.
Good morning, everyone. Thanks for being here. So I couldn't agree more with Senator Oroho. By the way, I want to give special kudos to the senator. He was also recognized by the State Chamber as one of our legislators of the year. So he is very pro-business and understands the business climate, the regulatory climate. And we know that a state's legal climate is one of the factors, as the senator stressed, that businesses consider, along with taxes and regulatory and other factors when they look to either expand their business operations or maybe consider New Jersey as a new home base of operation. Right now, New Jersey's legal climate does not compete well with other states, and we simply need to just point to the antiquated Consumer Fraud Act. Our, what I would call our mothership, the U.S. Chamber of Commerce, has been very on top of legal reform and, has looked at New Jersey, and unfortunately, it's an area in need of attention. State Chamber was instrumental in a package of comprehensive tort reform initiatives that we worked on, but that was several years ago, and it's something that is in dire need of attention. So it's time to make some what we call common sense changes to legal reform that will show the business community and New Jersey that we're serious about growing jobs and improving New Jersey's economy. Thank you.
Thanks, Michael. I'd now like to introduce Lori Elbeck from the National Federation of Independent Business here in New Jersey.
Thank you, Mark. Good morning, everybody. My name is Lori Elbeck, and I represent the National Federation of Independent Business in New Jersey. We represent thousands of small and independent businesses across the state. On behalf of our members, I'd like to thank Senator Oroho for his support of this bill. It's truly a common sense solution that I hope the rest of the legislature will support as well. I can tell you firsthand about the long-lasting impact this legislation will have on small business across our state because, unfortunately, small business owners find themselves often embroiled in baseless lawsuits. This results in proprietors spending more time and money that they could otherwise be putting into their business by making improvements or even hiring additional employees. It's vital to the success of small business that while keeping in mind the original intent of the Consumer Fraud Act, we make these important changes that we've discussed today. Not only are entrepreneurs distracted by baseless claims, but small squabbles among business owners and customers should not be clogging up our court system and diverting resources away from our economy. The thousands of NFIB members in the state of New Jersey are seeking relief from the litigious society that we all know too well. And I think that today is a great step in that direction. I appreciate your time.
Thank you, Lori. And our last speaker is Tony Russo from the Commerce and Industry Association of New Jersey.
Good morning. Thank you, Marcus. I just want to thank the Senator for his leadership, Marcus for his leadership on this issue. Just to give you an idea of who we represent, again, my name is Tony Russo. I'm the Executive Vice President of Government Affairs and Communications. I'm with the Commerce and Industry Association. We represent about 900 companies from virtually every business sector, but we pride ourselves in the majority of those 900 are small startups, innovators, entrepreneurs that have come into New Jersey, invested, and I can't agree more with what the Senator said, that when companies want to invest in New Jersey, one of the things that they're going to look at is our legal system and whether or not there's tort reform, in addition to the tax reforms and everything else. So I think this is an important step. We support the bill, obviously, and in 2 months we're going to be talking about budget, the state budget. And every year it seems like there's a struggle to find money. And when you look at our three biggest revenue sources, the state income tax, the corporate business tax, and the sales tax, the common denominator there are jobs. And that private investment that Senator Oroho talked about so much is so critical to bringing in those jobs. So we look forward to working with the Senator and the legislature and Marcus on moving this bill forward. So thank you.
Thank you, Tony. And just to be clear, what this bill would do is protect consumers who have been defrauded by a business that represented that a product or service would do something and it did not, and that consumer lost money. And the Consumer Fraud Act in New Jersey should retain the ability of the consumer to punish businesses that lie to them. There's no doubt about that. But today, unfortunately, the Consumer Fraud Act in New Jersey is one of the broadest and most easily used consumer protection statutes in the country to go after legitimate businesses, to encourage large frivolous litigation against businesses, and it really can destroy small businesses who make honest mistakes or have a legitimate disagreement with a customer. Where the Consumer Fraud Act is at its best is where a consumer loses money, the business lied to them, and that should be retained, and this bill would do that.